Good morning. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. After a series of denials, Pakistan Prime Minister Sharif admits India's missiles hit Noor Khan airbase and other key locations on May 10th. Moody's downgrades US credit rating from top level for the first time amid fears over soaring debt. White House dismisses Moody's downgrade on US credit rating. US Supreme Court blocks Trump administration's bid to resume Venezuelans' deportations. Trump slams court ruling saying judges preventing him from fulfilling his poll promises. Ukraine calls on allies to keep pressure on Russia after Istanbul talks yield no ceasefire. European leaders seek united front with US President on ending the conflict in Ukraine. And in sports, India's Praggnanandhaa clinches Superbet Classic title, beats Maxim Vachier-Lagrave after three-way tie in Romania. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif admitted that India's ballistic missiles hit Noor Khan airbase and other sites on May 10th. Addressing a ceremony held at Pakistan Monument on Friday, Pakistan Prime Minister said Army Chief General Asim Munir called him around 2:30 a.m. to report the strikes. Sharif mentioned the use of local technology and Chinese jets by Pakistan's Air Force, but confirmed that India's missiles hit their targets.
9 और 10 की दरमियानी रात में तकरीबन 2:30 बजे सिपह सलार जनरल सईद आसिम मुनीर ने मुझे सिक्योर फोन पे मुझे बताया कि वज़ीर-ए-आज़म साहब, हिंदुस्तान ने अपने बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल्स अभी लॉन्च किए हैं, एक नूर खान एयरपोर्ट पे गिरा है और कुछ और दूसरे इलाकों में गिरे हैं.
Meanwhile, BJP leader Amit Malviya pointed to Sharif's admission and noted that such a call reveals the precision and boldness of Operation Sindoor. India launched Operation on May 7th as a decisive military response to the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack. Indian armed forces targeted terror infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, leading to the death of over 100 terrorists affiliated with terror outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba and Hizbul Mujahideen. India launched a coordinated attack and damaged radar infrastructure, communication centers and airfields across 11 air bases in Pakistan. Air Marshal A.K. Bharati presented the composite picture on 12th of May of the targets engaged by the Indian Air Force during Operation Sindoor.
We have targeted the length and breadth of the adversary. I'm sure most of you would have already seen the effect of these strikes on ground, courtesy the large number of videos and photographs being circulated in the media. A few representative examples from the open source are now being shown to you on the screen. In fact, two of them. This is the strike on the Noor Khan Air Base. And you can see the effect. I'm sure most of you have seen the video. I have also picked it up from your sources only. This is the aftermath of our strike at Raimiar Khan Air Base. You can see the massive crater that it has left on its runway.
And after this, on May 10th, an understanding of cessation of hostilities between India and Pakistan was announced. Meanwhile, in the context of Operation Sindoor and India's continued fight against cross-border terrorism, 7 all-party delegations are set to visit key partner countries, including members of the UN Security Council, later this month. Members of parliament from different parties, prominent political personalities and distinguished diplomats will be part of each delegation. Shashi Tharoor, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Sanjay Kumar Jha, Baijant Panda, Kanimoy Karunanidhi, Supriya Sule, Srikant Eknath Shinde, each will lead 7 delegations. The all-party delegations will project India's national consensus and resolute approach to combating terrorism in all forms and manifestations. They would carry forth to the world the country's strong message of zero tolerance against terrorism. The delegation would also aim at exposing Pakistan's continued support for terrorism on global stage. And DD India correspondent Dibyendu Mondal joins us live for more on this. Dibyendu, Pakistan's doublespeak exposed again. Prime Minister Sharif admits to impact of Indian military action on their air bases.
Well, absolutely. Shubhendu, from day one, we had been telling about, exposing Pakistan's lies. Pakistan was showing videos that were on social media. They had no concrete proof. And now it is coming from the horse's mouth. None other than the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, accepting that India did make precision strike on the Noor Khan Air Base, which is at the army headquarters of Pakistan, which is in Rawalpindi. He also spoke about, there have been other attacks, which he got a phone call from the army chief of Pakistan, Asim Munir, telling him that, India has struck at different places in Pakistan, including the Noor Khan Air Base, which is, of course, a strategic and important air base for Pakistan, because remember, it is at Rawalpindi, the army general headquarters of Pakistan, as well as it houses multiple number of strategic assets of Pakistan, as well as all the VIP movements do take place from this particular aircraft, so airport. So, of course, this has been India's stand. Our stand have been for very long that yes, we did make those precision strikes, but however, the Pakistani army denied all of these, by saying that, oh, India is lying. But then this coming yesterday from, none other than the Prime Minister of Pakistan glares bare the fact that, Pakistan had been lying. And of course, they have been doing it for years now when it comes to terrorism. But of course, they want to create a sense of accomplishment amongst their masses, amongst their populace, because the fact that there is no other thing that is being done right in Pakistan. The Pakistan is, of course, in an economic doldrums. They are going to the International Monetary Fund as well as other international organizations, including the World Bank, with begging bowls to seek funds to keep their country afloat. So, of course, to give a sense of a fake morale to the people of Pakistan, the Pakistani army had been lying through their teeth. But of course, after this admission coming from none other than the Prime Minister of Pakistan, I don't know where the Pakistani government as well as the military will be hiding their face from here on.
Right, Dibyendu, meanwhile, the all-party delegation of India will have an important role to play in taking the nation's perspective to the world.
Of course, this is not the first time. Also, the fact that the all-party delegation will be going to different parts of the country, and as of now, we have details about 7 MPs, member of parliaments, who have been selected to lead these all-party delegation. So these 7 members will be constituting 7 different teams that will be going to different parts of the world, from the far east to the far west, including the United Nations as well as the US. The teams are expected to be divided in terms of Europe. There will be a team that will go to Eastern Europe. There will be a team that will go to Western Europe. There will be teams that will be going to the Africa, different countries in Africa. There will, of course, be teams that will be going to the eastern part of the world, which includes, to Australia, to Philippines, to Thailand, and to other different countries, the finer details of which are being worked out at the moment. The Ministry of External Affairs is working out details for the travel, but what we can, what we can perhaps save through our sources is that the travel or the delegation could start moving out of the country by the end of this month. Their sole purpose of these multiple delegations, which are being formed by the Indian government, is to spread and expose the lies of Pakistan, and also to expose Pakistan, who has been harboring terrorists for years now. Also, Shubhendu, during 2008 attack on, in Mumbai, similar delegation was also sent to different parts of the country. So, of course, this exercise is being done to expose Pakistan, to nail Pakistan's lies amongst the international community, and to and to bring Pakistan's harboring of terrorists exposed in front of the world. Shubhendu.
Dibyendu, thank you for those updates. In a significant nationwide outreach effort, 11-day-long Tiranga Yatra is underway across the country to honor the courage and sacrifices of India's armed forces, particularly in the light of the recently concluded and successful Operation Sindoor. In support of Operation Sindoor, a Tiranga Yatra was organized in southern India state of Tamil Nadu on Friday, carrying the national flag and chanting slogans like Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Participants from all walks of life paid tributes to the bravery and sacrifices of Indian soldiers. In a powerful display of patriotism and solidarity, northeastern state of Sikkim witnessed a Grand Tiranga Yatra on Friday in Gangtok in the honor of Indian Armed Forces, who successfully executed Operation Sindoor in response to the recent terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Kashmir. Tiranga Yatra was also held in northeast India's Agartala, waving the tricolour and chanting patriotic slogans. Participants in Tripura marched with high energy, turning the streets of Agartala into sea of saffron, white and green. Union Minister L. Murugan also participated in the Yatra. Tiranga Yatra was organized in northwestern Indian city of Udaipur to showcase solidarity with the armed forces and patriotism. People in large numbers enthusiastically participated in the Yatra. Hundreds joined Tiranga Yatra in Rajasthan's Kota as well to celebrate the valor of the Indian Armed Forces. Speaker of the lower house of Indian Parliament participated in Tiranga Yatra. Meanwhile, in Uttar Pradesh, over 250 years old Raza Library in Rampur illuminated in tricolour hues to celebrate the success of Operation Sindoor. India's Ministry of Culture has launched a powerful and binding initiative, Ek Desh, Ek Dhadkan, One Nation, One Heartbeat, to honour the brave hearts of the nation. The slogan Ek Desh, Ek Dhadkan is being widely adopted across digital platforms, amplifying the spirit of unity, patriotic fervour and reverence for the tricolour. The campaign has already begun to resonate strongly with citizens across the nation. Over the past 48 hours, all 43 institutions under the aegis of Ministry of Culture have shown cohesive and enthusiastic participation. The ministry said prominent cultural institutions, heritage sites have been illuminated in the colours of the national flag under the supervision of Archaeological Survey of India. More than 60 heritage monuments across the country have been lit with the tricolour. Moving on, state investigation agencies conducting raids at multiple locations across central and north Kashmir. Sources inform that searches are on in connection with the ongoing crackdown on suspected terror-related activities in the region. The searches are being conducted at Sopore, Baramulla, Handwara, Gandarbal and Srinagar areas on Saturday. No arrest or recovery has been made reported so far. More details are awaited. India's Home Minister Amit Shah will be on a two-day visit to Gujarat from Saturday. During his visit, the minister will inaugurate and lay foundation stones of various developmental projects in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar and Mehsana district. Home Minister will preside over an event titled The Role of Cooperation in Developed India, organized by Gujarat State Cooperative Union at Science City in Ahmedabad on Sunday. Let's now turn to other stories making news today. The historic Indian town of Gaya, one of the most prominent religious and cultural centers in the world, has now been renamed by the Bihar state government. The Gaya district will now go by the name Gaya Ji. The decision was approved by state cabinet under the chairmanship of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. The move, made in recognition of local sentiments and the historical and religious significance of Gaya, has been widely welcomed by various political parties. The 16th century Rajon Ki Baoli, a historic stepwell in Mehroli Archaeological Park, New Delhi, has been restored by Archaeological Survey of India in collaboration with World Monuments Fund India and TCS Foundation. The Culture Ministry said project aims to revive traditional water systems as eco-friendly solutions to modern water challenges. A team of engineers from South Indian city of Coimbatore has developed an AI-powered dog robot designed to perform various tasks including rescue operations, security patrolling and industrial inspections. Co-creators Rudresh and Suraj shared that the robot is built to operate in dangerous and hard-to-reach areas. Still to come on DD India News Hour. US to begin talks with NATO partners on troop reductions in Europe. US President Donald Trump has officially recognized the month of May as Jewish American Heritage Month. Presidential elections in Poland on Sunday. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. At a time when global economy is facing what the United Nations calls a precarious moment, India has emerged as a rare bright spot. The mid-year update of the UN report titled World Economic Situation and Prospects projects India's growth at 6.3% in the current fiscal year, the highest among large economies. This momentum is expected to continue into 2026 with growth estimates at 6.4%. In contrast, the global outlook remains subdued amid rising trade tensions, policy uncertainty, and a decline in cross-border investments. Meanwhile, the United States lost its last AAA credit rating from major agency on Friday as Moodys announced a downgrade to AA1. It cited rising debt and interest payments that outpaced those of similarly rated sovereigns. This move marked the end of an era as Moodys was the last major agency to maintain a AAA rating for American sovereign debt. Moodys warned it expects federal deficits to widen to almost 9% of economic output by 2035, up from 6.4% last year. As a result, it expects the federal debt burden to increase to about 134% of GDP by 2035. Moody's decision to downgrade the United States from its top credit rating mirrors similar decisions from the two other major US rating agencies, S&P and Fitch. Now, since his return to the White House on January 20th, President Donald Trump has pledged to balance US budget while his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has repeatedly said current administration aims to lower US government funding costs. The administration's mix of revenue-generating tariffs and spending cuts through Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has highlighted a keen awareness of the risk posed by mounting government debt, which, if unchecked, could trigger a bond market drought and hinder the administration's ability to pursue its agenda. The downgrade came as tax bill failed to clear a key procedural hurdle on Friday, as hardline Republicans demanding deeper spending cuts blocked the measure in a rare political setback for Republican president in Congress. Updates now on Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukraine rallied support from its Western allies on Friday after Kiev and Moscow failed to agree to a ceasefire at their first direct talks in more than 3 years. Under pressure from US President Trump to end the conflict, Ukrainian and Russian delegates met for the first time since March 2022 to discuss possible resolutions. The brief talks in Istanbul resulted in a deal to exchange about 1,000 prisoners each. While Russia showed willingness to continue dialogue, Ukraine called for stronger Western sanctions if Moscow rejects Trump's proposed 30-day ceasefire. As soon as the talks ended, Ukrainian President Zelensky held a phone call with Donald Trump and leaders of France, Germany and Poland. Meanwhile, Trump on Friday stated that he needs to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin regarding the situation in Ukraine.
We have to meet. He and I will meet. I think we'll solve it, or maybe not, but at least we'll know.
Ukrainians expressed relief and hope after Russia and Ukraine agreed to a prisoner exchange. While a prisoner swap marked a positive step, many Ukrainians are cautiously optimistic, hoping it could lead to more substantial negotiations between the two sides. And DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh joins us live with more. Amrit, what details can you share with us on the Istanbul talks, and why does a ceasefire seem so elusive?
The short answer to that, Shubhendu, is because both sides don't want to end the conflict on terms which are acceptable to each other. The long answer to that is basically there is no meeting ground. If you look at Russia, it doesn't want to lose the gains it's making on the battleground. The Ukrainians want their terms to be accepted. So what happened at the talks really was that accusations were hurled at each other. The Ukrainians calling the Russian demands as non-starters, unacceptable, etc. Russia saying that, oh, both sides need to put out their vision and their proposals, and then the talks can begin. So there is no clear timetable on how they want to proceed further. And added to that, Mr. Trump said that, as you know, that he said that unless Putin and I meet, these talks can't go anywhere. That is where it's stuck. Both sides, the Russians they want the Ukrainians to abandon their NATO ambitions. They want to give up about 1/5 of their territory, which are terms which are not acceptable to Ukraine. In a similar manner, Ukraine wants them to immediately ceasefire, go in for a 30-day ceasefire, which is not amenable to Russia. So basically, there is no meeting ground between the two sides as of now.
And just coming to that, Amrit, given the trust deficit between Russia and Ukraine, is a one-on-one meeting between Trump and Putin imminent?
We don't know. Trump has said that he would want to meet Putin. The Russians haven't responded to that, to his public statement. Once he's back in the White House, he said he'll call Vladimir Putin and try and set a meeting, but he left it vague on that. He said, oh, we need to set up a meeting and let's see what comes out of it. Maybe we work it around, maybe we don't. If it doesn't work out, it'll be interesting. Because Donald Trump also realizes that he has limited leverage with Vladimir Putin. This is not Zelensky that he can scold and pressurize into that. In fact, if he does attempt anything like that, things they could spin out of hand. So right now the Russians have not responded to Donald Trump's public statement. So he'll have to do a lot of cajoling, and he'll have to work the phones to get Vladimir Putin to agree to meet with him. And even if he does, would Donald Trump be able to secure a ceasefire? That remains a big question.
Amrit, thank you for joining us with those updates. The US Supreme Court on Friday upheld a block on President Trump's plan to deport Venezuelan migrants, saying his administration tried to remove them without proper legal process under a rarely used 1798 wartime laws. The justices, in a brief and unsigned opinion, granted a request by American Civil Liberties Union attorneys representing the migrants to maintain the halt on the removals for now. Due process generally requires the government to provide notice and an opportunity for hearing before taking certain adverse actions. The Supreme Court, meanwhile, clarified that administration was free to pursue deportations under other provisions of US immigration law. The administration has accused the migrants of being members of Tren de Aragua, a criminal gang originating in Venezuelan prisons that the State Department has designed as foreign terrorist organization. Trump has invoked the Alien Enemies Act in a bid to swiftly deport them. President Trump, meanwhile, criticized the Supreme Court's action, writing on social media, while conservative justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas publicly dissented from the Friday's decision. This was the second time that Trump's actions concerning Venezuelan migrants had come before the Supreme Court in a legal dispute that has raised questions about his administration's willingness to comply with limits set by the nation's highest judicial body. In other news, United States plans to begin discussions with European allies later this year about reducing its military presence on the continent. Speaking at a security conference in Estonia on Friday, US Ambassador to NATO Matthew Whitaker confirmed that while no decision has been made yet, the Trump administration is preparing to move forward with plans that have been long under consideration. Whitaker stressed that the United States will hold discussions on any changes in troop numbers with allies to avoid security gaps, while the prospect of US troop reductions has raised concerns among European allies. Whitaker reassured NATO partners that Washington remains committed to the alliance. Earlier in February, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told NATO allies that stark strategic realities prevent the United States of America from being primarily focused on security of Europe. Reports by The Atlantic in March revealed that Hegseth and Vice President Vance had criticized European defense spending in a private chat. According to The Atlantic, Hegseth expressed his disgust at European freeloading. Moving on, the Israeli army released a video on Friday showing strikes on Hamas military infrastructure. The IDF, in a post on social media platform X, said the IDF had begun conducting extensive strikes and mobilizing troops to achieve operational control in areas of Gaza over the past day. This is part of preparations to expand operations and fulfill the objectives of the war, including release of hostages and dismantling the Hamas terrorist organization. IDF troops will continue to operate in order to protect Israeli civilians and achieve the objectives of the war. The Israeli military on Friday night announced the launch of initial phase of a major new ground and air campaign in Gaza, codenamed Operations Gideon's Chariots. Approved unanimously by Israel's Security Cabinet on May 5th, the operation marks a shift towards the goal of reasserting control over the Gaza Strip and intensifying efforts to dismantle Hamas. In a statement, Israel Defense Forces said it had carried out extensive strikes and deployed troops to key positions across Gaza as part of the campaign's opening maneuvers. The military described the offensive as a strategic escalation intended to achieve the full objectives of the war, including the liberation of hostages still held by Hamas and the group's total defeat. Israel launched airstrikes on Houthi-controlled ports in Yemen on Friday, claiming to have severely damaged the key infrastructure. The Israeli defense minister vowed to pursue and eliminate the group's leader, Abdul Malik al-Houthi. The Houthi-run Al-Masira TV reported that Israel targeted Yemen's Red Sea ports of Hodeidah and Salif. The attack appears to be in response to the militant group's missile launches against Israel.
Our pilots have now successfully attacked two Houthi terror havens again, and this is just the continuation, and there will be more to come. We are not willing to sit on the sideline and let the Houthi harm us. We will harm much more of them, including their leadership, including all the infrastructure that allow them to harm us.
The Arab League will convene in Baghdad later on Saturday to address the escalating conflict in Gaza and broader regional crisis. Key leaders are notably absent. The summit follows US President Trump's controversial Gulf tour, during which he sparked outrage by proposing that US take over of Gaza and transforming it into a Riviera of the Middle East. Most Gulf nations are attending at the ministerial level. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez are also attending this meet. Iraq, hosting its first Arab League summit since 2012, views the event as a platform to showcase regional leadership and post-war stability amid Syria's ongoing transition. In a proclamation released on Friday, US President Trump has officially recognized the month of May as Jewish American Heritage Month. The proclamation pays homage to the enduring legacy of Jewish Americans. Trump invoked President George Washington's 1790 letter to Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island, reaffirming the nation's commitment to religious freedom and safety for all citizens. However, the proclamation also addressed the alarming rise in anti-Semitism following the October 7, 2023 attacks on Israel. The administration has pledged to confront anti-Semitism in all its forms, reaffirming support for the State of Israel. The proclamation underscores a commitment to ensure that Jewish Americans can live without fear, continuing to contribute to the nation's rich tapestry.
A very happy Jewish Heritage Month. This May we celebrate the incredible contributions that the Jewish citizens have made to our country, and they are many. Since all the way back before our nation's founding, Jewish citizens have been part of this fabric of this wonderful American republic. Over the generations, they've become many of our greatest scientists, doctors, artists, jurists, and certainly business people, including Albert Einstein, George Gershwin, Henry Kissinger, Milton Friedman, and so many others. America is the home of the largest Jewish population outside of Israel by far, and we will always defend our people and our religious believers.
On to some other news. Voters in Central European nation Poland will cast ballots on Sunday to replace Conservative incumbent Andrzej Duda, whose second and final five-year term ends in August this year. A runoff on June 1st is widely expected, with polls pointing to a likely showdown between Rafał Trzaskowski and the Liberal mayor of Warsaw, Karol Nawrocki, a conservative historian backed by Law and Justice Party, which governed Poland from 2015 to 2023. Poland's president has the power to veto government bills, so what happens in this election is going to be crucial. Time for a short break. There's more coming up. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. NATO paratroopers carried out a large-scale airborne operation near Belarus border in Latvia as part of Swift Response 25 drills. The exercise included Spanish Army aircraft dropping cargo and troops in southeastern Latvia to showcase the alliance's readiness to defend its eastern flank. Latvian National Guard Commander Jonas Vizulis emphasized that NATO troops stand ready to protect the region alongside Latvian forces. The operation is part of a broader multinational military exercise reinforcing NATO's strategy for rapid deployment across multiple European countries. Acclaimed novelist Salman Rushdie finally gets justice as the man who stabbed and partially blinded him on stage at Western New York Arts Institute has been sentenced. The attacker, 27-year-old Hadi Matar, was previously found guilty of assaulting the author in New York, USA. He has now been sentenced to 25 years in prison. Notably, Rushdie, 77 years old, has been targeted by extremists since the 1988 publication of his novel, The Satanic Verses, which led to calls for his death. Authorities on Friday reported that 10 inmates escaped from New Orleans jail, including some facing murder charges. However, the city's police department wasn't informed until 2 hours after the prisoners were discovered missing. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson said the escape was discovered during routine morning head count, though inmates likely escaped hours earlier. Louisiana State Police later confirmed that one escape was captured in French Quarter, hiding under a car in a hotel garage. Police also stated that the escape was impossible without outside help and vowed to investigate the incident. Initially, Hudson had stated that 11 inmates had escaped.
I need to confirm that Kendall Miles is in custody, so he is not on the run. There were 10, not 11, and he is in our facility and did not try to escape. The remaining individuals are being actively pursued, and our deputies, in collaboration with local and state law enforcement, are working tirelessly to locate and return them to custody.
A life-size bronze statue of Melania Trump disappeared near her Slovenian hometown. Most of the bronze statue in Bronzo near Savinnica has been removed from its tree stump base, with just the feet of the statue left. According to media reports, police are investigating the case. The bronze statue was unveiled in 2020 to replace a wooden figure which was set on fire. Supporters of former President Evo Morales clashed with police on Friday during a march backing his candidacy for the August elections despite disqualification from running again. Tension spiked in Bolivia when protesters tried to break the security ring near the Abaroa Square, home to the Electoral Supreme Court. Protesters hurled objects at police, who responded with tear gas and paintball guns. The clashes left an officer and a journalist injured. The protests followed a court ruling upholding two-term limit, effectively blocking Morales from running. Supporters from across Bolivia gathered in El Alto to push for Morales' registration as candidate for the August 17 elections. Morales previously served 3 terms from 2006 to 2019. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un supervised drills by its Air Force and underscored the need for a step up in preparations on Thursday, as per state media. On Saturday, Kim, who inspected anti-aircraft combat and airstrike drills by North Korea's 1st Air Division during Thursday's visit, called for all units in entire military to bring about a breakthrough in war preparations. Still photographs released by KCNA shows Kim looking at aircraft and missiles with military officials and speaking with pilots. North Korea also slammed the U.S. State Department for placing it on a list of countries that do not fully cooperate with U.S. counter-terror efforts. In a significant breakthrough, the U.S. has approved its first blood test for Alzheimer's, offering hope for earlier diagnosis and intervention. Developed by Fujirebio Diagnostics, the test measures the ratio of 2 proteins linked to the amyloid plaque, a key indicator of Alzheimer's. Until now, these plaques could only be detected via costly and invasive brain scans or spinal taps. U.S. Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Marty Makary emphasized the urgency, noting that 10% of Americans over 65 are affected, a number that is expected to double by the year 2050. Experts believe early detection may help patients benefit more. While it's not a cure, the blood test could provide families precious time and clarity. The FDA has authorized the test for clinical use in patients showing signs of cognitive decline. Brazil, the world's top chicken exporter, confirmed its first bird flu outbreak on a poultry farm in Montenegro on Friday, prompting a nationwide trade ban from China and regional restrictions. Authorities are stepping up efforts to control the outbreak. People wearing hazmat suits were seen placing egg cartons and other items into hole in the ground for burning and subsequent burying. Veterinary officials are isolating the area of the outbreak and hunting for more cases in an initial 10-kilometer radius. State officials say the outbreak is already responsible for the death of 17,000 farm chickens, either directly from the disease or from cautionary culling. The Agriculture Ministry said the countries including China, European Union, South Korea would ban poultry imports from Brazil for 60 days under existing protocols. Brazilian Agriculture Minister Carlos Favaro said the country is working to contain the bird flu outbreak. The ministry also stated that the virus is not transmitted through the consumption of poultry meat or eggs.
Within a 10-kilometer radius, all farms will be visited. At the slightest sign of a sick animal, the animals will be immediately killed. The production of this specific farm has already been tracked, so wherever the eggs were sent, they were unused. All the alerts in Brazil are in place at this time. There is no risk of people becoming infected by consuming chicken meat and eggs.
Tornadoes wreaked havoc on Friday in St. Louis, Missouri, United States, leaving homes in ruins and survivors recounting their escapes. The storm tore roofs off some buildings, stripped bricks off the siding and down trees and power lines as residents were urged to take cover. Speaking at a news conference, city officials say over 5,000 homes may have been affected by the afternoon's outbreak of severe weather. Authorities report at least 4 fatalities and numerous injuries as emergency services work to assess the damage. St. Louis braces for possible further severe weather. Famous spiritual leader B.K. Shivani of Brahma Kumaris is in Brazil for a series of lectures across the country. DD India's Shobhan Saxena spoke to the motivational speaker and Brahma Kumaris coordinators in Latin American nation about the growing influence of Indian spirituality in the region.
You're in the profession of healing people. You're not just healing the disease of the body, but you're also interacting with the human mind. And the human mind is going through anxiety and worry because they have a disease in their body. And so as a healthcare professional, if we start taking care of our mind, and our vibrations are healing the people before our treatment starts treating the body. So it was about taking care of your own mind as a healer so that you radiate that right energy to the people you treat.
I've been connected with the Brahma Kumaris for the past 46 years. And the headquarters of Brahma Kumaris is in the city of São Paulo. And here we offer retreats, we have meditation courses, we have weekly lectures, and daily people come for meditation early in the morning. Definitely the interest is growing because as the world becomes more difficult and stressful, people are looking for ways of changing the way of thinking and getting more spiritual power.
We've got activities, schools of meditation in 17 countries in Latin America. And I found that people are extremely open. They have very warm hearts. So they like to think deeply about things, I found. They like to also be playful, but at the same time, they want to go deep and understand life as well.
And news now from the world of entertainment. At the 78th Cannes Film Festival, India is inviting international production and official co-productions for film shooting and post-productions. Special sessions were conducted for foreign film delegation. DD India's Jayasena brings us more.
At the prestigious Cannes Film Festival, the Bharat Pavilion continues to draw global attention. A delegation of Brazilian producers and directors visited the pavilion, exploring collaboration opportunities with India's vibrant film industry.
I know that we have many things, common things to explore in terms of culture and history also. So we can for sure develop projects together with India, especially trying to learn how your style, Indian style, can influence Brazil in our way to shoot, you know, because you have a kind of very musical way to work, which is good for us.
I traveled to 5 different cities, and it was the most life-changing, incredible experience I've ever had. Just the people, the food, the energy, and there was just, India is really the microcosmos of the world, and I think that would make a beautiful, beautiful film.
The pavilion is showcasing the country as a premier destination for shooting and film production. From its diverse landscapes to world-class post-production facilities, India offers unmatched cinematic possibilities.
I think it's an amazing meeting, and I hope it could be more in other editions.
Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India has launched incentive schemes for international productions in India for live shoots as well as for animation, post-production and visual effects services, and for official co-productions with foreign countries.
Especially for countries like Brazil, they themselves are very rich in culture and finances, and Brazil is a very good ally for India, and it's very good if we do collaborate.
These panels are going to really help people and the co-production and the filmmakers to understand in terms of every logistics, in terms of funding, in terms of clearances, in terms of one window. It's not rocket science anymore. There will be people to help you.
Single window clearance, cashback incentives up to 40%. Audiovisual co-production agreement with at least 16 countries. At the crossroad of creativity and global partnership, India is definitely shining bright. With camera person Sumit, this is Jayasena reporting for DD India from Cannes.
The Marché du Film, also known as the Cannes Film Market, is one of the world's largest and most prestigious marketplaces for cinema. Established in 1959, it runs alongside the iconic Cannes Film Festival each year, serving as a vibrant hub for producers, distributors and film professionals from across the globe. This year, the market is once again abuzz with energy, drawing filmmakers, buyers and cinephiles from all corners of the world. Time for a short break. We'll be right back.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Time now for all the action from the world of sports. Let's first talk about cricket. The biggest cricket carnival, Indian Premier League, is set to resume on Saturday as Ajinkya Rahane-led Kolkata Knight Riders lock horns with Rajat Patidar's Royal Challengers Bengaluru. The tournament, which has 13 matches remaining, will continue across 6 Indian cities, with the final now scheduled for June 3rd. Playoffs qualification beckons Bengaluru, while elimination stares Kolkata Knight Riders in the face as the two sides meet in 58th fixture. A win for RCB over the defending champion will guarantee a top 4 berth, clear the course for it to stake claim for a top 2 spot. For KKR, a defeat will send the outfit crashing out. And my colleague Narayan Singh is joining us for more. Narayan, first moment of relief and cheer for cricket fans as IPL is set to resume.
Well, definitely, Shubhendu, a big relief for the fan, as we know that IPL is catches the imagination of the not only Indian cricket fans but the cricket fans all over the world, because the cricket players from all over the world are coming here. The top-notch players are participating in this league, and we know that if you talk about the viewership, TRP, it is at the #1. It is one of the most watched league in the world, and now the match is between today RCB versus KKR. This was the contest which has launched the IPL 2025, and after a pause of 10 days, again both the teams are taking the center stage and hoping that again it will be a cracker of a contest. And we know that for the way it was paused because of some tension at the border. And one thing I here want to mention, that we should praise the BCCI and India, the way they kept a gap of 7 days for the IPL, because it was not, we can say that it was not like that India was unable to continue the IPL. The press release released by the BCCI, it was clearly written that in such a tense situation, it is not good to play cricket. And India, just we can say that was very, very much concerned about the foreign players. So this is the
Narayan Singh joining us with more updates on that IPL that seem to have received. It's KKR versus Bengaluru later today. India's Praggnanandhaa clinched the Superbet Classic title in Romania after edging out Maxim Bashir-Lagrev and Alireza Firoza in the Blitz decider in a dramatic three-way tiebreak. 18-year-old Indian Grandmaster held his nerve in the final game against Maxim, sealing a memorable win in the opening leg of the Grand Chess Tour. In the Blitz tiebreaks, the first two clashes, which were Praggnanandhaa versus Firoza and Bashir-Lagrev versus Firoza, ended in tightly contested draws, leaving the title hanging in the balance. It was in the decisive third game that Praggnanandhaa stepped, defeating Bashir-Lagrev to win the title. India's golden boy of athletics, Neeraj Chopra, scripted history on Friday evening at the Doha Diamond League 2025 by breaching the elusive 90-meter barrier in men's javelin throw for the first time in career. The reigning world champion recorded a best throw of 90.23 meters, becoming only the 25th athlete in history to cross the prestigious mark. However, despite his personal milestone, Chopra had to settle for second place as Germany's Julian Weber stole the show with a winning throw of 91.06 meters. And Prime Minister Modi congratulated Neeraj Chopra for achieving the historic milestone. In a social media post on X, he says, and I quote, "A spectacular feat. Congratulations, Neeraj Chopra, for breaching the 90-meter mark at Doha Diamond League 2025, achieving his personal best throw. This is the outcome of his relentless dedication, discipline and passion. India is elated and proud." India's Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia also congratulated Neeraj for achieving the feat. And he says, and I quote, "Historic feat. Heartiest congratulations to our javelin star Neeraj Chopra for breaching the 90-meter barrier for the very first time with a throw of 90.23 meters, securing second place at Doha Diamond League 2025. In Mongolia's Tengger Desert, a breathtaking sight is stealing hearts as 100,000 acres of wild Mongolian almond plants burst into full bloom. These national second-level protected wild plants, thriving in harsh deserts and steppes, have transformed the sandy landscape into vibrant desert flower sea. The tourists are flocking to witness the natural wonder, marveling at the delicate pink blossoms against the rugged dunes. It's a reminder of nature's resilience and beauty, inviting all to cherish, protect this desert treasure. Stunning visuals there. That's all in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.